Migraine is often used to describe a big ol' headache. However, migraines frequently have more than just a pounding in the head. And while a pounding in the head is one of the major symptoms of a migraine, you might experience many other obnoxious and painful problems. Hey, I'm Amy on A Lolly Life, and you are worthy. And you do have the strength inside you to keep going even when things seem hopeless. Things will get better, I promise. And then they will probably get a little bit worse again, and then they'll get better, and then they'll get worse, and up and down and up and down. It's the natural cycle of life. Don't quit just because you aren't on the fun part of the ride. The fun things will continue to happen through your whole entire life. They will. You have to watch for them. And then when they come, you have to enjoy them to the fullest. About 10 years ago, I had my first migraine, and I had no idea what was wrong with me. I went from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I guess I didn't do a very good job describing my symptoms because it took a while, quite a while, to figure out that I was having migraines. The American Migraine Foundation says that migraines are the 6th leading cause of disability worldwide. You would think that because migraines are somewhat common, that I would have known what was going on, but I didn't. We are going to talk about what a migraine is and the more common symptoms. In a future video, I'm going to talk about migraine triggers and my migraine battle plan. Yes, I have a migraine battle plan, so look for those in the future. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD or an RN or any other fancy initials after my name. I'm not trying to diagnose you or help you diagnose yourself. If you're not feeling well, I recommend going to the doctor. However, getting a diagnosis is a balance between a good doctor and being a good patient who can articulate your problems in a clear and concise way. Since migraines aren't diagnosed with a blood test or peeing in a cup, if you have a clearer idea the direction your symptoms are pointing, it is much easier to communicate that with your doctor. What is a migraine? Of course, the most common symptom is probably that pounding in the head. But we're also going to talk about other common symptoms that I had no idea were part of a migraine. Until I started having them, of course. But before we do that, let's talk about the life cycle of a migraine. Migraines have 4 phases, and they can start anywhere from a few hours to a few days before the head pain part of the migraine comes on, and then they can last anywhere from a few hours to a few days after the head pain part of the migraine goes away. The phases of a migraine are the prodrome, the aura, the headache part, and the post-drome. Not everyone who has migraines goes through all of those stages, and that's normal. We're going to talk about those stages in the order that they most often happen, but you can have a shakedown and they can happen in whatever order they feel like. The prodrome stage of a migraine can start up to 3 days before the headache part of the migraine even gets started. The most common symptoms of the prodrome stage are mood changes, digestive disturbances, food cravings, and sleepiness. The second phase, or the aura phase, for myself, I sometimes have an aura the hour or so leading up to a migraine. An aura is just a temporary visual disturbance in the force. Visual disturbance in the force, yes. Auras don't occur with every migraine, and some people don't have auras at all. But even if you do have them sometimes, you don't always have them. And auras can have other problems besides just visual disturbances, like having trouble finding the right word or just having trouble concentrating so that you can put your thoughts together in a coherent manner. My auras are generally a blind spot in my vision or a bright light that floats across my vision, kind of like I look directly at a bright light. I've also had shimmering stars or spots or changes so that I just can't see quite as clearly. Other people have zigzag patterns and things. It makes it sound like these are all just so wonderful, shimmering stars. Yeah, they're not wonderful. Other things that can accompany auras are muscle weakness or numbness, like tingling in your hands or your face or traveling down your arms. Actually, those particular symptoms are also very similar to symptoms of a stroke. So if you're experiencing new symptoms, get the advice of a healthcare professional. I am not a healthcare professional. I guess I would consider myself a professional homemaker, but I'm not a doctor. The third phase is the attack or the headache phase, and that's the most painful for me. Actually, it's probably the most painful for most people because your head hurts. However, that's such a pathetic way to state the pain that's going on that it makes me want to roll my eyes because it hurts a lot. It can include things like pain around your eyes or your temples or your sinuses or your jaw and neck, or generalized muscle stiffness and pain, especially when it's in your shoulders and neck. The pain can be anything from mild to severe, and it can be stabbing or throbbing or pulsing or whatever word you want to describe an ice pick being roughly inserted into your head repeatedly. As a side note, it is possible to have a migraine without the head pain part. Although that seems strange to me because it hasn't been my experience or the experience of anyone I know. Migraines also can include sensitivity to light or smells or sounds. You can also have things like loss of appetite and nausea and vomiting. Yes, I've done that. Dizziness, trouble focusing or concentrating, mood swings, depression, irritability, anxiety, and tiredness. The last stage is the post-drome stage. It's what I think of as the migraine hangover. You might not feel well for a day or more. It can include, but not limited to, things like exhaustion, sluggishness, brain fog, and a low-grade headache, which I think of as a focus headache because it hurts to concentrate and focus on things. Women are not the only people who get migraine. Men get migraines too. A Cleveland Clinic study says that 18% of women get migraines and only 6% of men get migraines. Also, children can get migraines. Interestingly enough, little boys are more susceptible to migraines than little girls. The gap doesn't switch until after puberty. Finding others who have migraines is helpful for some people. It can be really nice to realize that you aren't alone. But I want you to realize that you are not alone even if you can't find someone else to commiserate with you. You have heavenly parents that love you and a Savior, Jesus Christ, who understands completely what you're going through. Also, I love you. You are important. Find ways to serve others. And it doesn't have to be a big old production either. It can be something as simple as forgiving somebody who cut you off in traffic or is being rude, or giving patience to someone who doesn't actually deserve your patience. Anyway, I love you. I'll see you on the next episode of Lolly Life.